Everyone, and welcome to RVing in New England. It is February 27th, and a couple of more days, and this month is going to disappear. Let me bring up my partner here and see what John's up to tonight. Here he comes.
Hey, John. Good evening, Bob. It's you know what? The end of February. Is this a leap year? I don't know if it is or not.
No, okay. only 28 days this year.
One more day, and then we can say we just have like on a month to the unofficial start of the camping season. At least that's when I get my RV out of winter storage. And you know what? Now's the time. Everybody's starting to post on Facebook and other social media sites what their summer plans are. And, you know, we got a great guest tonight that's going to allow us to really enhance our planning capability. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we got a great show tonight. A couple of local things. The show season is not over. We got the Rhode Island show coming up this weekend. We got a couple of dealer open houses that we've been posting. So this goes Rhode Island. And the weekend after that, we got Joe Gonzalez's new RV show, Southern Connecticut RV show down at Mohegan Sun. So we still got plenty of shows left out there also.
No,
interesting. I was traveling in Florida last week, and I took some time and I had lunch with Marty and Twinny Hanoud, formerly with Marty's US RV, and now Camping World of Berkeley. Had a great time there and reminisced about all his New England friends. He says to say hello to everybody Shelburne Falls, and took Fran and Shirley Roberts out to lunch and hadn't seen them for a while, and they're doing well. And they said to say hello to everybody, and so everything is good in New England. Let's
but hold on.
Who our guest is, and I'll bring him up.
Hold on. Before you do that, there's two things to talk about with Mohegan Sun with the show, number one. But number two, my camping buddies, my granddaughters will love that show because there's a Krispy Kreme.
That's right.
At Mohegan Sun and a Pepe's Pizza. So you know what? We went to the Worcester show last week, and we'll go to Rhode Island this week, Connecticut next week. But you know what? It's Krispy Kreme time, which means the camping season can't be too far behind.
I actually got a special treat because I'm doing seminars at the Connecticut show for Joe and for our dealers. And May is actually going to come down Saturday and Sunday. We'll stay over Saturday night because Sunday is my birthday. So we'll do some seminars, and then we'll have a nice birthday dinner down at Mohegan Sun. So we will be down there Saturday and Sunday.
Great. That's perfect.
So tell them who our guest is.
We've got a great guest tonight, and you know what? It's a very interesting story because very similar to many other people that are in the RV media business today, he didn't really set out to become an RV media expert, but he just is a regular RVer, just like you and I and all of our viewers. And you know what? Went out to see America. Found out he couldn't really find out much about the places he was going to go, and said, you know, he's kind of like the modern day Victor Kayem. He liked the Remington Shaving Company so much that he bought it. So he really started a company called CampgroundViews and .com. And it's one of the leading sources throughout the United States where people go to check out campgrounds before they go there. We want to say very special New England snow-covered welcome to Californian Mark Koep. And Mark, welcome to our show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
You know, when I heard you speaking earlier to Greg Gerber and some other people in our prior interviews, you've been to New England because you talked about Normandy Farms. And that's our good friend Marcia that's involved with that place.
You know, our story, we started, it'll be June 9th, it'll be 10 years ago that my wife and I sold everything we own, threw everything else we had in a fifth wheel and hit the road and started traveling the country. And so we've been around the U.S. twice. It was through that experience about 4 or 5 years into that journey where we just finally had enough and decided to jump off and start this business we call CampgroundViews.com. And
I know Mark's got a ton of questions for you, but let me ask you this first, because I wrote this down when I was reading your story. You said sold everything you owned and hit the road. Here's my question to you, and it's a two-part question. Number one, were you afraid? And number two, what was the reaction from parents and in-laws?
So I'll start with that second part first, because we're 10 years in. They still don't approve. And they try, like literally right now, our RV is in South Lake Tahoe, surrounded by 11 feet of snow. And they're literally rooting for us to be buried with snow so we can't leave on March 9th. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 10 years in, they're still rooting against us. But when we first started out, we went through a year-long, because it's kind of, at the time I was 30 years old. And, I had my MBA, I had a business, my business was virtual. So like that part we had covered, right? Because I was already working virtually already. So really our fear was more, we weren't really afraid at all. We were excited about this adventure. But what was funny is we started it out as we were just going to do this for a year and a half and then settle down. And then the second we got on the road, after the first night, seeing these amazing sunsets, we're like, how can we continue doing this forever? Why would we ever stop? And that's literally where we're at. We now have a 6-year-old kid, our son, who travels with us. He knows nothing different than living on the road. And what's funny is, when we first had him, again, the parents and friends, they're concerned, is he going to end up being weird? And what's funny is we're homeschooling him and he's seeing this country and he's experiencing all these things. So what's happened now, 6 years in, quietly they'll come up to me and they'll say, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because he's interested. He learns very quickly and he is not afraid to engage with friendly people. So he'll go up to anybody and say, hello, how you doing? And he knows how to engage with people. So, it's going good so far. Will we do it forever? Who knows? But we're having fun while we're doing it now.
But you haven't told him you're homeless yet.
My son my son actually, what's crazy, that's actually a really good discussion point. So we're full-time RVers and we're young and there's a stigmatism with that, right? It's like, are you homeless? What are you doing? So we have found, because we're basically working professionals, our house just travels around every once in a while. Yeah. But when we engage with people for the first time and they ask us where we live, our home is in Southern California. That's where we're from. And so we'll say we're from California. And until we get to know them a little bit more, we won't even tell them we're full-time RVers, except for our son, who is 6 years old, who tells everybody I'm a full-time RVer. And they're like, what? What does that mean? It's hilarious.
Let me take a minute, Mark. We get a tremendous fan club that follows us every week, so we want to make sure we're there. Mark and Don Polk are on. You're going to get to. Don says he's looking forward to meeting you at RVX. So this is kind of like a coming out party, Mark. So we're kind of qualifying you to see if you're going to be good enough to fit into our media group at RVX. So this is kind of a test.
If you're crazy enough.
If you really bomb tonight, we'll probably uninvite you from the dinner.
Oh, great.
so Don and Mark are on. Michelle, I think, is two gals in a Boston Brood. That's Michelle. She does all of our Facebook. She's a techie. You'd like Michelle. You'll meet her and Joe Moniz and Jeff Johnston out at the dinner.
Oh, Jeff.
She's in Arizona. Laurie, I don't think Laurie's out there yet. Or if not, she's damn close to going back out there. Jerry Plant from Cape Cod. He's with Majors RV. One of great service centers down there. Ed Laturco, my good buddy from my document imaging days. He likes to follow us. Good evening, Ed. And Adam's on again tonight and from North Haven, Connecticut. So hello, Adam, and we'll catch a few more.
Very cool.
So from a standpoint of being out there, and you kind of started the story, but you really didn't finish it. So you were traveling all around and you just didn't like the way you had to find campgrounds. And I don't blame you. So they all walk around with this big, thick book, and all it is thousands of listings, and it doesn't tell you anything. And, if you buy a big enough ad, maybe your rating gets a little bit bigger. And there's other types of campground guides, but you came up with a great idea that, and I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell them what your idea was and what the germination of that seed was.
Okay, yeah. So when we started traveling, we were, my background is internet marketing, web design. And so the business we had at the time that enabled us to go full-time is I had started back in 2005 a local SEO company. So I'd help small businesses get to the top of Google Maps, the Google Maps directory listing. I had a system in place where I could take any business and get them into the top 3 within 3 weeks. And so we had a resale partner and we had thousands of clients nationwide. So my background was internet marketing, web design. So when we looked for campgrounds and RV parks, we would use the internet. So we were going to sites like RV Park Reviews and Google and TripAdvisor and Yelp, and we would spend all this time reading reviews. And if you've ever spent any time reading reviews, any park, doesn't matter how nice or how bad it is, will have 5-star reviews and 1-star reviews. And it's up to you as the reader to figure out which ones are legit and who is like you and what are you getting into. And so for the first 4 years, that's how we traveled. And we kept ending up at these parks where it was nice. You know, it was 5 stars. It was nice, but it was nice for somebody who was 65 and looking to retire, not for somebody who was 30 looking to have fun and enjoy things. And so we kept having that experience. And then the kicker, what actually the event in our lives that said we're going to do this, was we wanted to go stay near New Orleans during Christmas time. But we didn't want to stay in New Orleans. There's a few parks in New Orleans. We didn't want to stay in New Orleans. We wanted to stay between New Orleans and Baton Rouge so we could tour the area. And I was online and I found this brand new RV park called Poche Plantation. And it was this RV park built around a plantation by an RVer. The guy had bought an RV, traveled, and built this RV park. And it was brand new. Like, it was only open a few months at this point in time. And so I saw it. It looked nice. And I was like, okay, well, let me go read the reviews on it. So I go to Yahoo and Yelp and all these sites. And they're all 1-star reviews. And the descriptions are, it's the worst place in the world. You're going to get robbed, mugged, killed. Don't go there. And I'm reading the reviews and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, this does not make sense. So finally I just said, I'm calling this guy. And so I called up the owner, and his name was Mark also. And I get him on the phone, and he's got a deep Creole accent, and he's just like a fun loving, you know, when you meet somebody, you know, they're just like a good person.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, and so I just flat out said it. I said, hey, Mark, you know, I'm really interested in your park, but I'm reading all these really negative reviews. What's going on? And he laughed and he said, well, what happened is we built this beautiful park and our competitors don't like it. And so what had happened is all the competitors went out there. And that was, at that point, I said, that's it. Everybody's got a cell phone with a camera and a video camera on it. We need to start something that encourages people. Like, we take written reviews, but we encourage photos and videos, because you can't, a picture you can take an angle of, a video doesn't lie. If you do a pan, you're showing the place and as it looks. And so that was the catalyst that started it. And the mistake, and I'll tell you flat out, the mistake we made is we just started it. And we didn't actually look at the market and what we were getting into and how complex it was. For example, if you want to start an RV park in Campground Directory, you can't go to Info USA and buy a list of campgrounds and RV parks. They don't have it. And we know, because we bought 3 lists. We spent a bunch of money, bought 3 lists, put them together, and then we tested it. And we did the same thing that any camper is going to do the first time they go to campgroundviews.com. We did a search for an area we know. And we wanted to see if we had the parks that existed there. And we found out, no, these directories you buy are bad. And so we spent the first 2.5, 3 years. I was working my full-time job, enjoying our travel. And then at night, Katarina would go to sleep, and I would start at about 8:30 at night, and I'd work until about 3, 4 in the morning, hand building our directory, city by city, state by state, for 2.5 years. So that's how we started. And then once we had something that was solid enough to where you could search pretty much any city and find the campgrounds that were there, then we started rolling it out to public. And now we have over 3,000 videos, over 30,000 photographs. And now we've moved into the next phase, which is 360 VR. We're really, the whole purpose of what we're building, it goes back to our reasoning. Our reason is to make camping amazing. That's literally what our mission is. Let's make camping amazing. And
the way, how about make camping great again? We could all walk around.
I don't want to get in any trademark things there, so we'll go with make camping amazing.
We'll walk around with Maca hats on, MACA.
Maca, that's funny.
So, MCGA, that's what it would be, right? Make camping great again. You know, you brought up an interesting point, or actually Bob brought up an interesting point when he was beginning that question to you, the option of the thick booklet. And we certainly don't want to talk negatively about any of the other sources that are out there, but just with the printing schedule that you have to adhere to if you want to have a book, you know, a directory out, you've got to back up so far. And by the time it hits the street, it's kind of outdated. Have you been able to get a circumstance where you're changing videos of various parks when you're actually crowdsourcing your content to get a new video in there if a place now has a new pool or an updated clubhouse or pavilion?
Yeah, what's happened now is we have so many videos that usually what will happen in that situation is the owner or operator will contact us and say, hey, that video you have, and we always have this, the sign's wrong, or this is wrong, or whatever. And so we'll work with them to get the right content. Usually what ends up happening, and so for us, one of the big questions everybody has is, well, how in the heck do you make money then? Or are you selling ads or whatever? And we actually don't make any money directly off CampgroundViews.com. What we do is we provide marketing services to the campgrounds and RV parks. So we'll go in and we'll do professional video productions. We'll do 360 video tours. We'll help them with their website and their digital marketing. And that's how we generate revenue. So what will end up happening is a conversation will be like, hey, we just dumped $150,000 into the park and the video you have sucks. Well, okay, great. We're happy to help you get a better video, and you can shoot it yourself with your cell phone, or for a nominal fee, we can come out and actually do a really professional production. So that's usually what ends up happening. So we'll go out and we'll produce these really beautiful videos for them that they can share and show off. And, as we're proving right here, video is the future. Yep. People want to see it. And we see that as the big missing gap. Anybody who's, all the viewers here are campers and RVers and have experienced it. They know how frustrating it is to go to a campground website. It looks like it was developed by their nephew who's 4, and the pictures are awful. And
that is so true. And let's really analyze camping. The vast majority of the campgrounds in the United States, it's like the last vestige of family-owned businesses.
Correct.
Yes, you have the corporates coming in, and yes, KOA does provide a great marketing service for them. But for the locally owned mom and pop campgrounds, these people are not marketers. They're probably the farthest from it. And then they throw pictures on, like a campsite with no camper on it, or a pavilion with no people in it, or a dining area with no diners in it. They just look like it was exactly what you said, their nephew that did it. And so basically you're providing marketing services for them that they can't do on their own, or shouldn't attempt to do on their own. Would you agree with that, Bob?
Absolutely. And that's when we put out the promo for tonight's show. That was, and I said that we really have 2 different groups that I think are going to join in and who will be sharing this. And one, of course, is the consumer, but equally important is the campground owners. And they've got to come into the 21st century. They've got to get modern techniques. To your point, Mark, everybody's got video. So if you go to a site and there isn't a video, then you really question if they're up to date with this. So I think the whole issue, and for us as, I run the association. So I spend, a lot of time. I got 35 dealers in New England, and they're critical because unless somebody buys an RV, they can't enjoy the lifestyle. But the fact of the matter is, whether or not somebody enjoys this lifestyle starts the day that they pull out of the dealer's lot. Exactly. They're not going to camp on the dealer's lot. They're going to go to a campground. And they get into this lifestyle because they talk to other people who have been to great places. They love traveling and love being with the family, full-timers like yourself who, homeschool their kids. So whether or not people stay in this lifestyle, for my money, is totally dependent on the campground. So we work very closely with the campgrounds in New England because we realize that when there's a problem in the campground, they don't call the dealer. They go up to the front desk and say, my water heater doesn't work, or my awning doesn't come out. And, maybe they'll get a mobile tech or something. But it's the experience in the background, in the campground. So to the extent that they can see the campground with your 360 videos, what would you say tonight to the campground owners who are on here or who will see this video because somebody's going to share it with them? They're going to go to the campground this summer and say, Bob and John had this guy on, and he's talking about a lot better stuff than what you're doing with your campground. So speak directly to campground owners and why they should be looking at your service. Well,
first off, John hit it on the head. And it's the reason why we focus on this industry. My family, when growing up, my mother was an entrepreneur. She owned a balloon and flower shop. So from the time of elementary school all the way up through high school, I actually worked in the shop. Now, it's not a campground, but I saw that it was a family-owned business, right? And I absolutely love the fact that that's what our industry is, that it's still family businesses, right. They're working hard. And so I'll start there. That's the reason why we're in it. Cause it's like, it's near and dear to our heart. So if I'm speaking to a campground or RV park owner, what I say to them is, your customers have changed, and they start their search for your park online.
Do they ever push back?
So what happens is they don't push back, but they don't use it themselves. A lot of times, usually it's their kids that are kind of pushing it now. They don't use it, and they've had such a long experience with those folks that produce the book.
Exactly.
That they're not willing to try something different. And so, and I'll give you some,
those little 2x8 cards, rack
yeah,
cards.
Yeah, exactly. So what we do now, we have enough experience with parks that here's my response to them. There's a park in New Paris, Ohio. It's called Natural Springs Resort. Absolutely beautiful. Last year, they implemented our 360 video and our marketing video on their website. In the first 3 months of the season, they measured this. They actually have the numbers. A 244% increase in online reservations in the first 3 months of the season. Their call volume. Go ahead.
That's what they see when they go to your website. Yeah, there's their video. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Their call and at the same time, their call volume dropped by 40% because people could. That's the park right there, Natural Springs Resort.
Online.
Yeah.
So people are able to go into that website, see a video that gets them excited, shows them what the amenities are, go into a virtual tour page and look around the entire park, see all the sites. As a camper or RVer, you totally get, like, I have a 44-foot fifth wheel. It's big. So my concerns are, can I pull into and out of the site? Will I be able to open up my pop outs? But if you are in a Class A, your door's in a different place, your slide outs are in a different place. So unlike hotels, and it's actually the biggest problem with online reservation systems. I saw somebody mention the rec.gov system, and it's the big problem with reservation systems is they're designed like hotel reservation systems. And in hotels, your guests are 3 feet tall to 7 feet tall, and they all fit on the same bed. In the RV space, you can be in a tent, 45-foot diesel pusher, everything varies. So the reality is technology is changing, and not only is technology changing, but the guest demands are changing. And that's why we do the video. We don't do video. If you notice, I didn't say, hey, we started this business to be a video production company. We started this business to be a directory to help people. And we found how powerful video is, and that's why we do it.
Let me catch up on a couple of comments.
Bob, while you're doing those comments, let me do our commercial here that we always forget to do. Okay. So here's the thing, Mark, we always forget this. I write it down, and we always plan to do it about 20 minutes into the show. We usually forget till about 40 minutes, but here it is. We want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And one of the reasons that we're able to reach 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people a week with this particular show is because of our audience that is right here in front of us tonight. And they look down at the bottom of their screen and they hit the share button and they share it with people that they know that are RVing. They share it with people that are thinking of RVing, but not yet RVing yet. And the reason we're able to reach those thousands of people is because of our current audience. So folks, if you would just take a moment and hit the share button, and if it says put in a group or a friend that you know, please do that. And then we can reach people. One of the points that, Bob, while you read those, one of the points that I wanted to bring out, maybe Mark can talk about it. We should be very clear that this is not a paid membership club. This is a totally free service that campers like us can take advantage of to find out where our next camping adventure is going to take us. And with that, Bob, I know you've got some good questions that our viewers have already asked.
Yeah, so you already answered Michelle's. Walter, I'll put the URL back up there. Ed Laturco says, I think he means, he says, do you set yourself up for various campgrounds and RV shows as well? How are you marketing with respect to shows and that activity, Mark?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's on the RV shows and campground shows, there's basically two avenues. So we're in a unique position. We basically serve two masters. So our goal is to show campgrounds and RV parks to the campers, but we also serve the owners and operators. So for shows we actually attend with a booth and like we're at, those are the park operator shows. So we'll go, like we were just out at Carolinas and Myrtle Beach for their show, the California RV park owners show. So we go to those type of events, ARVC. On the public side, we actually partner with RVIA, and at the California RV show, we go out as their social media folks, and we shoot a bunch of video for them and post it on their Facebook channel and help. We're kind of like their on-site videographers, kind of doing video productions for them at those events. And that's kind of tailoring into some more. So I'm a very like active guy, so it's really hard to stick me behind a booth. Like even if I have a booth, usually I take the table and get rid of it, and I'm, come on in, and I'm out and about. So anything I can do at a show where I'm not sitting behind a booth, that's where I'm at.
Hey, I'll give you a lead right now because I saw Lisa Warren down in Texas. Her and her husband own a campground down there. It's a Big Cherokee or Big Chief. Lisa, tell me exactly. I got it mixed up, but Big Chief or Big Cherokee
I think it's
Park
Big Chief, yeah.
somewhere near Houston or Austin.
Okay.
I think it's in Austin. I think it's in Austin. We'll see.
In that park, but they own a great park down there, and they're into video, and they have a show just like us that happens at 8:00 Eastern time tonight that goes all over the country.
Oh, really? Okay.
RV Show USA.
Yeah.
RV Show USA. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get
Alan
we'll
Warren.
get contact information to Lisa and Alan, but you'll certainly want to do a stint on their show also. It's a good audience and a lot of good consumer feedback there also.
Oh, that'd be great.
So from a standpoint of horror stories, do you have any horror stories with some of these parks as far as when they don't work with you or when they don't see the value of what you do? How do you get over that roadblock? Because we have that with some of our dealers. I mean, John and I do a lot of videos with our dealers, and we try to have certain promotions every month. And sometimes the dealers tell us they're too busy for us to do the video.
Yeah.
It's free. We go in, we do the video, we post it on the Facebook page, we do Facebook Live interviews with them. How do you handle that with the campgrounds?
The reality is if they're not doing it themselves, their campers are doing it for them. And this goes for the RV manufacturer side too. Like if you go to, I'll talk the RV manufacturer side. If you go to any of the big shows, you will easily see anywhere from 2 to 10 YouTubers. These would be full-time RVers who got their own YouTube space, and they're at the shows and they're running around, and you'll see them. They're running around filming all the units, and they're not doing that for free, and they're not doing it for the heck of it. They know that if they have a video titled the Winnebago, blah, 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 whatever the model number is, and they do a whole walk around tour, that video is going to get 150 to 200,000 views, and that they can make some money off that with the YouTube ads and then whatever their channel is or whatever. On the campground side, you're seeing the same thing where folks are walking around the campground just doing a live stream with their cell phone for their Facebook following, which might be 50,000 people. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about the park and like, oh, it's really nice except for that dumpy trailer there, and they're showing it. So the reality is your guests are going to do it already. And that's why if you do it professionally, that video is going to be their first experience. So, on both the sales side and on the camping side, if you own it a little bit, if you take control of it a little bit, you'll help drive the experience of the consumer. And so for like a campground or RV park owner, and as campers, we're totally going to get this, what I'm about to say. So when you go to a park and you have no idea what you're getting into, your first experience is whatever your experience was driving there, pulling in and checking in. So if you had a bad time, somebody cut you off on the highway and you pull in pissed off, you're already arriving in a bad mood and you're going to have a negative connotation towards that park. But if your first experience with that park was a beautiful video that got you excited, a 360 tour, it doesn't matter that somebody cut you off on the highway there. You know what you're getting into. And that's kind of an ancillary benefit that we're starting to see for the parks we work with, is that their online reviews actually improve over time because people are arriving already with realistic expectations of what they're getting. And so, it's kind of those things where video really solves all the problems, and it also can create problems if you don't take control of it.
Yeah, it's interesting about expectations, and we teach this to our dealers, and it's a weak spot in our industry, and certainly true at campgrounds. If you manage the customer's expectations, they're going to have a better experience. The only time they get pissed off is when it's totally unsuspecting or it's something completely out of what they even thought it was. They may not have been, have a good basis of fact for what they were thinking, but it was what they were thinking, and that's their perception of what it is. So we have to do a better job of managing their expectations, and that includes that campground experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark, you talk about having a nice video, and I want to look at Natural Springs when we get off the air here. But if you've been to a consumer show and you've seen the campground set up with their booths, I mean, I have actual video of people sitting at the campground booth eating lunch, dinner, reading. Most of them, the young ones, are texting. And Bob and I were at a show in Hershey a couple years ago where there was a guy at his booth sound asleep.
No, that's
during show hours.
During show hours, sound asleep at his booth.
So we took a picture and then went back after he woke up and told him we were going to send it to his boss.
He didn't care.
He didn't care, did he? He didn't care. He didn't care.
No, he was asleep in the chair. Yeah.
The only thing scarier than that would have him say, "I am the boss."
Well, okay. So at RVX, which is in like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks. We're partnered with KOA, and we'll be part of the KOA, their Campground of the Future booth. Okay. And I invite all of you to come along there because we're showing off the next generation of something we're creating. So I don't want to tip it off too much, but definitely come by. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I would also, it'd be a great way to show other associations and parks how you should be showing off your booth. So if I'm running a booth for a campground or an RV association, like the Campground Owners Association at a trade show, I do what I said already. I throw away that table. That table's gone. Absolutely. I put up monitors around the thing. So say, for example, I was marketing Arizona, for example. Yeah, and this is just a hypothetical. With Arizona, you have the deserts, you have the mountains, you have the rivers, right? Those are the three primary things. So on one side of the booth, I have beautiful images of campgrounds and RV parks in the mountains. In the back one, the desert, the left side on the river. And then I place the placards for those different parks there. And when people come in, I'm talking to them, hey, you ever been camping in the mountains of Arizona? Yeah, I've been there already. How about the river? No, I haven't. Okay, so if you're not engaging these people in that way, because think about it, and you guys get it, right? The consumers walking around at RV shows, it's usually their first time ever buying that RV. They're really kind of doing the research.
Stop for 1 second. Stop for 1 second, Bob. And this is not a setup, Mark. We have not set up this. Well, no, that's wasn't even what I was talking about.
We don't have scripts. We just let it fly like it is. And I'm going to let you reply to David right away.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but go ahead with that, and then I'll tell you what I was thinking.
Can you read that one, Mark?
Yeah, that's actually a normal comment we get a lot. And what I would respond to that is that the videos come from campers that are staying at the campgrounds. And so if you found a video that's useless to you, take the time to actually go out and do it. Or the alternative to this is you can just say it's useless and you can continue using whatever you're using. I mean, that's fine. Nobody's forcing you to use campgroundviews.com. So I appreciate
or charging you.
Huh?
Or charging you.
Or and we're not even it's free. So you should see, like, we do 360 videos. And when I say we do 360 videos, when they launched the 360 videos 2.5 years ago, we jumped on it right away. We bought, if you're familiar with it, there was a camera called the Fly. It only filmed a 180. It filmed at like 640 by 480. It was horrible. We bought that and started using that. And there's videos out there that we filmed in those first years that are bad. Like if we look at them now, they're bad. And you should see the reviews. We get a review. The funniest review we get is somebody will go watch a 360 video and they'll post a comment and say, all I'm looking at is your stupid logo. And that's literally the comment. We get some pretty hostile comments. All I'm looking at is your stupid logo. And so then I'll respond. I'll say, hey, are you viewing it on a tablet? And they say, yes. And then I'll say, pick up your tablet. And then on a tablet, if you're viewing a 360 in the YouTube player, when you pick it up and you move it around, you're actually looking at the view. So when they have it on their lap, they're looking at the floor, which is where our logo is. And so if they pick it up and look it around, then they'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate the feedback. We'd love for you to check out the site. We do get those comments quite often that people hate it. I'm sorry that you feel that way. We're happy to take some investment money and we'll make it however you want. But right now we're doing this the best we can with what we got. So there you go.
Okay. So now you had said something prior to that comment being placed there. You said a lot of the people are looking for their first RV. Now, Bob has done seminars for the last 50 years in the Boston show. And a couple years ago, when I was working with him at the Boston show, I said, let's do a little survey. And by a show of hands, how many of you own an RV? How many of you are coming to an RV show for the first time? And Bob, tell Mark, and it's amazing how your stats back up each other, unrehearsed.
In the seminar is called Introduction to RVs and the RV Lifestyle, but I cover every kind of RV and resources for we have. 90% of the audience typically does not own an RV. It used to be in the industry that everybody thought the same people came to the shows every year and never saw anybody new. So then John said, why don't you ask them if it's their first RV show? So we added that about, I think this was our 4th year.
Well, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, amazingly, 50% of the people, and I'm talking 100 people at a session, I do 9 sessions in standing room only, 50% of the people were attending their first RV show. So when we talk about marketing and go RVing, we are having no problem whatsoever attracting new people to at least investigate the lifestyle. Now, if we sell them a bad product, they're not going to come back. If they go to a lousy campground, they're not going to come back. We still have a lot to do on the back end of the business, but we're not having any trouble. And I thought that was, and this year on some of my sessions that I did in Connecticut, we were up to 60 to 70% of the people who were at their first show, because we tend to just talk to the audience as if they're experienced RVers. But we have a tremendous number of young couples, young people just getting out of college that want to buy a Class B and go mountain hiking, young couples with baby carriages. We cover the whole spectrum, which is, again, another great opportunity when you go out to do the campgrounds, because you can show that they've got destination campers if there's older people that don't own an RV, that they've got tent sites if you got a young couple that still wants to be in a tent, or a nice site for a 45-foot diesel pusher. You can show all that with your videos.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think, Mark, what Bob is saying and what you said is so true. When we've got these new people that are coming into camping for the first time, the 25-year-old, and Bob, we saw that last Friday night, a week ago tonight, when we were in Springfield. The number of what I call the stroller families, where the kids are under 4 years old, and it was amazing, the number. However, these are the people that their first look at a campground is not in the brochure, it's not in the directory. They Google these people on their phones. It's not even they sit down. So if the introduction to that campground is an old beat up website with generic faded pictures of empty picnic tables and, et cetera, without the life of a video, wouldn't you say that the new generation of campers is just going to keep scrolling along until they find a website that entices them, makes them feel welcome, and makes them want to be proactive in finding out more about it? Isn't that part of the deal?
That's exactly part of it. That's where those numbers came from. The 244% increase in online reservations. That's just one of the clients we have. And there's another park out in California, Bakersfield River Run. First year, he measured 107% increase in online reservations over the course of the year. Plus he measured a stat. His average length of stay went from a day and a half to 3 days, which verifies exactly what you're saying, because people could see the park in advance. Say they're planning a 7-day trip. You're going to spend a few days extra at one of the parks, right, over your 7 days. Well, they can see that park. So they're like, hey, we're going to stay here an extra few days. And that's the numbers you see. So, yeah, absolutely right. Utilizing video.
It's got a good point here. Do you partner or work with the retail stores like Cabela's or LL Bean or REI Outdoors? How do you approach these stores, or do they have your brochures or anything?
No, we haven't even gone that route. So we've, as David and Tyson politely pointed out, we have to build. We believe that that's the experience that we need to correct. We need to make sure that when people hit our site, it's perfect. So rather than go out to Cabela's and drive, 1 million people into the site, we would rather have it really solid before we do that. And so that's our focus right now. So our focus is actually more on building the content with the park operators. And as you'll see at the RVX in 2 weeks, we've got something that we're coming out with that just completely changes. It's so transformational for the experience of campers looking to go camping, that whether we get a partner to do it or not, we're doing it because it's going to completely revolutionize the industry.
Well, John and I are going to be out there. We'll be doing a lot of videos from the show floor, and
well, plus we'll be Toby O'Rourke, the CEO of KOA, has already been on this show prior, and
very cool.
We just arranged an interview with her next week. Maybe we can get you and her together to talk about some synergies.
If you're in, that's a good point, John. If you're going to be in the booth, then we'll just come by and grab both of you at the and talk about it there.
That'd be awesome. So,
now, is it going to be available as soon as the show's open, or are you going to wait till after? Well, because the show doesn't open after the reveal. So
it's actually it's designed within their booth. So they're integrating our technology within the booth display, because the reality, KOA's looked at what we're developing, and they recognize that it's part of the experience of the future. And the reality is they're designing their booth for the campground of 2030. Okay. We can have this in the summer of 2019.
Okay. Can you address Michelle's question here? I know we're blocking the people. Can you see that all right, Mark?
Yeah.
She's with Rolling on TV, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Jose, Jeff Johnson, and Michelle's the marketing communications director for them. So apparently they're doing something at a place that is in your listings.
Okay.
So
pricing's a good point. So the way we price it, when we come out to a park to do video productions, it's $6,000. It's a flat rate that covers all production. So we'll come out, and we don't just do one video. We actually do a series of, usually we deliver anywhere from 5 to 10 videos to them. So we'll do a marketing video, 360 video tour. We'll do shorts for their amenities. We'll do social media clips. We'll do email video clips. Our goal is not really to sell a video. It's to sell them an entire marketing package. And it's funny. So you asked about what do parks respond when we reach out to them. Some of them, we tell them $6,000 of draws at the ground.
Apart.
And they fall apart. Yeah. And it's like, so then my response always, and it's now because I know the numbers are real, I said, okay, option 2 is we will charge you 15% of the increase in revenue you generate over the course of the next year, because we know that that's actually going to be about 3 to 4 times more than that money we would make would be 3 to 4 times more than what we're charging them. So it's one of those things where if you look at like a Good Sam ad, they're $7,500 a year for a Good Sam ad. And that's real. So it's $7,500. That ad disappears at the end of the year. These videos, they're on your website, and they can last, unless you materially change your park within 5 years, they're good 5, 6, 7 years. So it's really a good investment. And not saying that as the person who's selling it, video is the best investment you can do for marketing a location.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I don't know, Mark, if we should when clearly mention it at the front end of the show, but you are an RVer, and you're sitting in one right now, but that's and you're in sunshine, it looks like, in the background there. So tell our viewers where you are and why you're sitting where you are.
Okay, so I'm in Southern California right now, actually in Thousand Oaks. I'm in my brother's RV because we're here visiting him, and all the kids are up in the house going completely nuts, which I thought would be kind of distracting and loud. So I moved down.
They're probably watching you on the computer up there, Mark.
They're probably, they're laughing at me right now. Yeah, so we one of our clients, I can't because of the way the contract's written, I can't name who they are, other than they're a public agency that's located in Central California. We just did some work for them. They have some campgrounds and so forth, so we're doing some work for them, and then we're down here, and then we're heading back up to Tahoe this weekend. So and then from Tahoe we go out to Salt Lake City for RVX, and then the season starts, and once that starts, I'm actually be on the East Coast about 4 or 5 times between May and July. We're all over the place. Really, the reality is we've proven that this works, and so we're really kind of scaling it up now to address. There's a lack of content, right? And that was what we learned early on when we started CampgroundView. Is we let just the average. The whole idea is it's consumer generated content, right? Let's have people send in video, but people, they have only so much time. They're on vacation, right? So they're not going to be shooting video of the entire park. So they take a quick shot. They do this, they do that. And then we have to cut out the people's faces, license plates, and ends up shorting it down. And so because we saw how valuable those cruddy videos were, that's how we got into the professional production now. And so that's really where, we know it works. So and we know it's helping people find great campgrounds. So it's really a win-win. And so that's where our focus is.
Exactly. And you know what? When you're out in New England, let's plan on hooking up. But we'll see you next couple weeks anyway. But
your turn, DePietro.
You know, from that perspective. But how does, when you're not going from campground to campground, the share. What are you doing, Zagami?
I'm telling you.
What are you doing? Oh, shit. He wants me to get into the commercial. Okay. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're still in the midst of our show, and we have plenty more content to go with our friend Mark Koep. But we want to allow you to give you this brief moment to share this video with other campers, other people that are considering the RV lifestyle for the first time, so that we can continue to reach thousands of people every week and pay the huge guest fees that we pay Mark, that we're going to be sending to Mark right after.
I lied about the RV. You bought me this RV to be on the show. So
that's exactly right. Exactly right.
Nothing like graft. All right. Walter posted up something. Walter must like one of your listings, Lilac Oaks Campground.
Well,
that's actually a good listing. So that's an example of, it's got both the video, the 360 video, and photos. And that's actually it. Let's talk. Can I talk about that park? Because
hold on. I want to tell you how great our guests, our viewers are.
They're awesome.
They're even answering questions from other viewers. Michelle said, "Which listing can we see one of your great videos?" Yeah. And Walter went and got it. So we've got like 2 shows going on. We got a side show down at the bottom.
There's another one below too. I said that Michelle was going to be out in Salt Lake City, and Dawn picked up on it and says, "I didn't know you were going to be out there." Michelle writes back, she says, "I'm not. There was a change in plan, so Michelle's not going to be out there."
Right, exactly.
So they carry on their own conversations. But go ahead, talk about Lilac.
Lilac's a good. So that's a park that was really run down. Like when you get near major cities, you find these parks that become less than parks. They're more like people living there and so forth. And there's this change going on in the industry right now. There's a lot of money chasing parks because there's really good returns in it. So that's actually an investment group that bought the park, and we enjoy working with them because their goal is actually kind of similar. They want to make camping amazing too. And so they're trying to turn that park around. And even though it's early on, so that's a really good example, because if you tour the park, you'll see it's a little bit rough, around the edges. But I can tell you that we've been out there twice now to reshoot videos because they're doing so many improvements to the park. And it's one of those, there's a change in the industry, right? There's a new generation of campers coming on board. There's new RVers, and there's different demands. And you mentioned you interviewed Toby O'Rourke, and that's one of the things that KOA and Sun Communities is also doing it right. They're kind of up in the game. I don't know if you've seen that Cabo Robles. It takes what an RV resort is and takes it to another level. So there's this change going on right now just within that camping industry, which doesn't change very often. So it's intriguing and fun to be part of it.
You said it. It doesn't change very often.
Yes.
And isn't it amazing that some of the marketing that's done by these campgrounds, how they could ever stay in business? And I'm talking the people that we see at shows, and some of these people that are behind the booths, they look like they just crawled out from under a rock. I mean, right, Bob? Last week we saw some people that, man,
and they pay good money to
in a cave,
and they don't even talk to the people going by. Good point from Walter here. You want to answer Walter's question?
Input feedback on your website. Yeah, you can shoot me an email directly, mark@campgroundviews.com. That'll get direct to me. There's also down at the bottom of the pages, there's like a contact us. If you own a park, go to campgroundviews.com/enhance, ENHANCE, and you can submit information to us about whatever park it is, and we'll get that thing changed. So to give you an idea on the directory itself, on average, during any given week, we make over 300 changes to different listings. So that may be updating listings, adding listings, removing listings. So we're constantly changing it's a living document, right? We're constantly adding stuff. And so, and the RV audience is unique. Some people are happy, some people aren't. So usually the changes are, hey, you guys are freaking wrong. What are you doing? It's like, all right, forgive us, we'll change it. But yeah, it is what it is. It comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. And just so you know, Mark, a couple of the people that we have with us that you can see their names, Diane Quayle and her husband, Martin, are the presidents of the main Good Sam organization.
Okay, great.
Walter Swenson down there is the president of Massachusetts Good Sam. And Jason Cole, who joined us a little bit a while ago. Jason, thank you for helping test my microphone yesterday. Is the president of Rhode Island Good Sam. So I don't know if you've been able to make inroads in that organization, but you know, when you're dealing with presidents of state organizations, many times it gives you a little more leverage to walk into a campground and say, "Hey, we know these people, and they're all campers."
We want to talk to you when we get out to Salt Lake City. We want to talk to you about the East Coast and New England, because if you're going to be coming up this way, we'll put together some meetings with the campgrounds for you. We'll do some webinars for you. We'll find ways to help you out and come up, because we got some really great campgrounds up there.
Yeah, you do actually. That area is amazing to RV and camping. Loved it. We were there. We started at the end of summer and stayed all the way through fall with leaf changes and just that whole region.
Tail end of the season.
Yeah, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Yeah. It's just a fun place. I mean, so somebody living in New England buying an RV, they wouldn't even have to leave New England. It'd take them 10 years to go to all the campgrounds that are. Of course, we want to travel, and that we want to encourage people to travel. We're at 751 already. Recreation.gov is no better. Not sure what that is. Okay.
Well, while you're reading those, what is the next? Why the 360? That's what I'm saying, because you brought up 360 many times, as opposed to a shot with a really nice gimbal that would take smooth video through. What's the magic of 360?
Two answers. So number one, Google Street View is amazing, isn't it? You can drop into anywhere and take a look around. The problem with Google Street View with a campground is that the Google Street View is actually a camera taking pictures. So as the vehicle's driving, it takes picture, goes further, picture. So if you've ever used Google Street View, you drop down into the spot, you look around, and then you'll jump forward 2 steps, backward 2 steps, left, right 2 steps, and then you leave. And so when the 360 video came out, that was it, because I knew that we could take you into an immersive experience where you could just sit back, cross your arms, and go down the roads and just kind of glance at everything, or you could hit pause and look around. We also, some of our newer productions, we're putting audio, we're engaging video into it. We're putting a map on the ground with a cursor, so as you're traveling through the park, you can look down and see what sites you're next to. This next generation stuff we're coming out with is, if you can close your eyes and imagine the future of what we could do with 360 video, I'll give you that hint going into RVX, and I'll tell you that we have the technology to do that now.
Wow.
You haven't been colluding with the Russians, have you?
Well, yeah, my last name is Koep, which, no, I haven't talked to any Russians that I know of. I got to qualify that, right? Because we talk to a lot of people, email with a lot of people, so yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I got all confused because my
idea.
Just went out on me, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. But you know what? New technology, and we can almost do 2 stories on you. One about the business of Campground Views, and secondly, the side story of how it became. And either one of those are 60-minute shows in themselves, because what's happening now because of technology. Well, because of technology, you are able to do your quote unquote other job from the road, which gave you the freedom to travel. So without that new technology, and then when you're out on the road, you're saying, wait a minute, what I'm seeing is not what I'm getting. And this is just not right. And, without dropping $1 million into a website, you could start this business and then grow it, which it seems to be doing.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the whole mission, right? It's you initially, I think a lot of entrepreneurs start stuff for themselves, right? And then they kind of get a bigger vision of it. And we've seen that. Like, is it perfect now? No. Will it ever be perfect? No, it'll never be perfect, right? It'll never be perfect. That's how
the technology changes too frequently.
Bad.
Well, and it's interesting too, because
basic.
all all the state associations, and you got the, the Big Good Sam book. They talk about, see it online. Well, when you see it online, it's just a copy of the piece of paper that's online. So it still doesn't improve the decision-making process, and it still doesn't show you what else you can do. Now, have you had any state association? Because we get 5 in New England. We don't have, we have Mass Campground Owners Association. We got them for all New England except for Rhode Island, because there's not enough campgrounds in Rhode Island. But have you done anything with state campground associations where they might be able to put a link for parks that you have done 360 videos for? So you saw earlier, I put up that Maple Park, Cape Cod Maple Park Campground. We did a video John did a video down there a couple of years ago, and Tanya, we spent some time with her out the Springfield show, and they're up to about 12,000 views on it. But if somebody had your video on their campground site and they're listed in the state campground directory, I'm sure there must be a way that they could just click on something to see the video for that while it's still in the directory. Yep.
Yeah, all of our videos are hosted on YouTube. So in that case, when we've gone out and produced it on their behalf, we've been paid by them. Sometimes it's hosted on our YouTube channel, sometimes theirs. And so they can easily pull it over and embed it, as long as the site supports a embed from YouTube, and post it anywhere. So that, I mentioned like the fees and what we charge. That's why, because we give them so much content that they can use all over the place, that they can use it all over the place. Like a good example is Ocean Lakes Family Campground, their ARVC Park of the Year down in Myrtle Beach. Yep. They had us last year come out and do a 360 tour, and we have one video for each one of their RV lanes. And they integrated it within their reservation system. So when you're looking at, and that park has 800 sites, right?
Right.
So
when you want to, yeah.
So you can see if you're booking site 50, you can actually go down the lane and see site 50. And so we did that for Ocean Lakes. So really we try to get creative with what the client needs, what they're looking for, who their campers are, and create it for them. Petaluma KOA up in San Francisco, on the video page on KOA, you can see some of the videos we produced. And with them, we delivered over 17 videos, I think, for their use in marketing. And, going to the results, they used one of those in a Yelp ad. She spent $200 and had 40,000 impressions on that video. That's how effective that video was at getting impressions.
Go back to YouTube. Go back. What's the name of the YouTube channel? Just CampgroundView?
Yeah, CampgroundViews, right? Yes.
Okay, because a lot of our people we do the same thing. We take this show and we convert it over and put it up on YouTube. We put all of our dealer videos up there also. Yeah. So if they want to if they wanted to do the YouTube first and pick out their favorite campground, then they can see if it's got a video. Then they go back to your site and see some of the other stuff. What other social media should they know about your company?
So if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see there's some videos on there that are not of campgrounds. They're about running campgrounds and about marketing campgrounds. So one of the things we did a year and a half ago is we started a Facebook group for park owners and operators. It is now up to over 700 members representing 400 different parks from across the country. And it's an incredibly active group of people who are engaging and sharing ideas on how to operate and market their parks. Wow. So you would search, if you're on Facebook, because Facebook links are weird, right? You would just search Campground Owner Operator Marketing Group, and you'll see it. It's got about 700 members. If you're a park owner or operator, click on there to join. You have to fill out some questions, and we'll add you in. And it's an amazing resource. The feedback I get from it is incredible. And we don't use it to sell. We did it because if you've ever gone to an association event, they're amazing, right? If you go to an association, like the New England event is coming up, they're amazing places. But what happens for park owners is they have this amazing time, but then they leave and they get back to their park and all the chaos hits them. And they lose all that stuff.
So we'll promote that to them also. Are you on LinkedIn at all? Because there's a similar group on LinkedIn called RV Park Biz, B-I-Z.
Oh, no, yeah. I've got a profile on LinkedIn, but we've never really used it, again, because we found that most park operators barely use the computer.
Well, that's true, but we repost this show on 15 different LinkedIn groups, and John reposted to about 15 different Facebook groups. Yeah. So we are already at 7:59. We try not to keep. We could probably talk to you for 2 or 3 more hours, but
one thing we do want to tell the people that are watching on replay, because the vast majority of our views, the 99.9%, are on replay. is that even though it's on replay, you can still, this program allows you to still type in your questions, and we keep continuously check the questions, and we try to answer them. If not, Mark, we send them directly on to you. So even if you watch it in a few days, you know, there might be some people that have questions, and
yeah, we do ask
get it to you.
If you have a chance, Mark, in the next day or two, if you could go back, don't have to watch the whole show, but if you go back in, because John and I go back in and we'll answer a lot of the comments that we didn't get to tonight, but feel free to go back in and you answer them on any of the questions that you want. So, you know, feel free to jump in and be part of the conversation.
Awesome.
Well, I want to
Cool.
thank you. I want to thank you very much for taking the time tonight. This was enlightening, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person in Salt Lake City. I'm sure you and John and I will have a lot to talk about out there, and I guess we're going to let you stay for the media dinner, so you kind of passed the first test. I'll give Greg Gerber a call and say it's okay. You're going to bring your wife?
He's okay.
Yeah, I don't. So you changed the location to like a saloon. So we're not sure if we want to take our 6-year-old to a saloon yet.
Well, it's a restaurant, but they just call it the Whiskey Saloon.
Okay, so it is a restaurant. Okay, then we'll bring him. I wasn't going to bring him to a saloon.
There's a prerequisite for the dinner.
Right, and the other prerequisite is that the new guy pays.
Well,
okay.
They have to have Jack Daniels. They have to have Jack Daniels
For us.
Okay.
We've had situations where they didn't have Jack Daniels, and I had to run out to the liquor store. But that's all right.
I'll pay. It just might not be my credit card. All right.
Get Toby's then. Have Mike Gass give you one.
All right. John, any closing remarks, John?
No, you know what? It's been a fun show, and the time goes by quickly when you're having fun. I think it's a great concept, and it's certainly right up there with what we see every day with the new RVer coming into the marketplace. This is not your father's or grandfather's business anymore. People are looking for new ways to find new places to go, new exciting things to do, and really nothing allows you to deliver that excitement, enthusiasm, and welcome as much as a video.
That's right. All right, Mark, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.